like a small thing, and it may seem like something that isn't necessary, but giving yourself a minute to settle in is an important part of being able to be present. Hi again, and welcome to further exploration of a phylogeny. I'm going to show you just very briefly about this website that I'm asking you to go to and get some experience with and kind of play with. If you look down here, you can see that there's a lot of information, and this is exactly what we covered in lecture. The video that you watched at the beginning of lecture is also linked here. It's shortened, so if you want to use this website to watch it, be aware of that. You'll probably want to actually open it in YouTube. What this website does is it pulls phylogenetic trees and builds them for you and then lets you play with them. So what I would like you to do, I would like me to stop saying so. What I would like you to do is choose at least 2 of the groups of organisms. And I will show you mammals first. And it'll take a second because it has to go pull the tree. There we go. And it will show you a phylogenetic tree of a selected group of mammals. Not all the mammals, obviously, because then you wouldn't be able to read the tree. But it's showing you some mammals. And you can see that there are multiple clades in this group, and that mammals as a whole is a monophyletic group. And then over here, these questions ask you, Panpaniscus is more closely related to. So which of these 2 species it's asking you is Panpaniscus more closely related to? And what I'd like you to do with at least 2 of these groups is go through and explore these trees and answer these questions. And the questions are designed to make you think about those concepts that we just talked about, that we just covered in the last lecture. So what you can do first is, all right, we're interested in Panpaniscus. Let's go over here. And what you can do is you can click on the lineage leading to Panpaniscus, and it will highlight it for you. And then so this dot represents Panpaniscus' most recent common ancestor with Homo sapiens, or humans. It's asking us, is Panpaniscus, is it more closely related to Homo sapiens? Let's find that. That's here. Or gorilla. Let's find, where is gorilla? Right here, the western gorilla. So if we look right here, Panpaniscus and Homo sapiens share a most recent common ancestor. To get to gorilla's most recent common ancestor with Panpaniscus, we have to go back a whole other lineage. So Homo sapiens and Panpaniscus are more closely related than is gorilla to Panpaniscus. I want to point out, if we're looking at this lineage, that had this question asked you about the eastern gorilla, or Gorilla beringii, if you just looked at this without highlighting lineages and without thinking about the history, the evolutionary history, if, let's say, maybe the question asked, is Panpaniscus more closely related to Gorilla beringii or to gorilla? You might be tempted to say, oh, well, Gorilla beringii, they're right next to each other. But keep in mind that this placement it can be flipped, right? We could flip at this node right here. So gorilla could have been right here instead of Gorilla beringii. So keep that in mind as you're exploring these. And so mammals it resolves to this nice pretty tree Make sure you can see that. Some of them don't, which happens. Let's see if we can find one that doesn't. Okay. Looking at this tree, looks a lot different. This thing right here, I'll highlight these lineages, is what we call a polytomy. And so what that means is, at least from this tree, from the data that is producing this tree, we don't know which of these four species is more closely related to each other. We can't tell. If you're looking at something like this, you can't tell which of these four species is more closely related. You can tell, however, for example, that this species, and these are echinoderms, I don't know how to pronounce their names. This species and this species are more closely related to each other than they are to this one up here. Is my mouse showing up for you? Because I'm not going to be making a lot of sense, am I? If I'm like this one and this one, let's see. Nope, it's not. Well, crap. Okay, so Sclerosterius, let's see. I'll just highlight these. Sclerosterius mollis and Sclerosterius contorta are more closely related to each other than either of them is related to Orthosterius cholerae. I do not study echinoderms, guys. Okay. I think you could tell what I was talking about earlier, even without the mouse, that these four form what we call a polytomy. And so that means that we can't tell about relationships between those four that I've highlighted in red. So your activity is to go to this website, which I've linked to, play with it, do at least 2 groups. You can do them all if you want. I mean, I think it's fun. Of course, I built it. Another example here, and it takes a minute. Birds. So go in, play with that, and that will help you get more familiar with the concepts that we've talked about so far.